All right, I have to do a video. I have to talk about this. I cannot believe that I haven't seen more people talk about this. This new game, Torchlight Infinite, that is basically a mobile game style port from a Chinese company, a very very large Chinese mobile gaming company called XD, is a PC game for that has been remade a little bit for Western audiences, and it is a rip of Path of Exile in like every conceivable way. Visually, you're looking at the screen, you're like, this is the opposite of Path of Exile. This is nothing like Path of Exile. But the more that I uncover, even during some parts of the campaign that I'm playing, I'm like, holy shit, they yoinked every single Path of Exile mechanic. I mean, it blows my mind. I can't believe that I'm not seeing more people talk about this. It's actually crazy. Path of Exile, this 3 month league cycle that this game is going to plan on doing, I think other developers looked at Path of Exile, realized how much market space it got, and just how much money these whales were spending on supporter packs for the 3 month leagues. And that's what I prefer to play. I'm an ARPG gamer. I love the 3 month leagues. This game, it reminds me a lot of like the Korean MMO style, where it's like you got a little trader and you got an auction house and you got all these weird there's these weird elements that kind of like blur the lines between ARPG and MMO. But what's crazy to me is just how much has been pulled from Path of Exile. Now, Path of Exile is an old game, y'all. It's like over 10 years old. People forget how old Path of Exile is. It's freaking ancient. My Path of Exile account was created, I think, in 2010, or even earlier, like 2008. I, so let's start with the let's look at the inventory real quick. So this immediately you're like, holy shit, this is a jank ass mobile game, right? Look at the art. Look at this stuff. You're like, there's no way this is Path of Exile. But just like a lot of ARPGs, it has equipment slots with three affixes, prefixes, and three affixes that are suffixes, and implicits, and wait for it, also corruptions. Corroded. That's just corrupted. Literally just Path of Exile's corrupted, straight up copy pasted. Oh, what's the other one? Look, regenerates 1% mana while moving. That's literally a Path of Exile corruption. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. This is like the exact same while moving. While moving. I mean, and I it's fine. It's fine, right? This doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. There's not that many ARPG players that care about this, and I actually think that it's healthy for to have competition in the space because people have been clamoring for it for a long time. So kudos to XD, this China, huge behemoth of a Chinese company that's got to be minting from mobile game microtransactions. They invested a bunch of money into a game like this, bought a really really cheap IP in Torchlight because the Torchlight 3 bombed so hard. They basically got it for free, and now they're utilizing it to capitalize on the Western ARPG audience, aka me and Path of Exile players. I am blown away. I just played a mission in the campaign where you go and kill three little mini boss areas to go into the final boss. That's literally just a Path of Exile act thing. I know people are going to say, like, no, 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 there was other games that did this before. There are other games that did this. Path of Exile stole from those games. Okay, okay. But it is eerie. Eerie. It is creepy. The max amount of support gems you can have is 5. So a 6, basically a quote unquote 6 link, that's in this game. We can look at that real quick. It's staggering. This is basically the skill tree. Now this is obviously very different, but a lot of the talents are similar to like cast speed and area, mana regeneration, and I know that ARPGs always copy each other, and there's a lot of like, you know, there are a lot of clones on clones on clones, and they're all kind of doing the same thing. But man, I'm surprised. And the reservation, I mean, you notice the reservation. I don't know that very many other games that do that. Um, yeah, and I'm not. I'm actually not. I know it sounds like I'm like bitter or something. I'm really not. I'm actually like I'm excited about it. I'm like, holy. I mean, there's no. This isn't like copyright. You can just take all these ideas and use them in your game. Like, why not? I think people are recognizing that Path of Exile is a good game, and like, I guess the sincerest form of flattery, right, is like the copycat thing, and yeah, and I have to show because I've mentioned it. I have to show the skill stuff. So multiple projectiles, slower projectiles. These are literally just skill gems in Path of Exile. And we go to the energy thing. So this is just your links. Like you have a sixth link in Path of Exile. This is just your six links. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that I haven't seen more people mention just how similar it is, really. The gameplay loop so far, it seems similar. It's just a little faster paced and a little more colorful. It seems to be a little bit harder to die and a little bit more like cartoonish and mobile game friendly. And I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. This shit is just crazy. Um, and maybe I'm a little old hat here. A man in his mid 30s still playing games like this. I'm sure is a little weird, but I yeah, I think it's making me realize how old I am and respecting the fact that Path of Exile, it's already aging out. It's upon us. Path of Exile stands, it is, the change comes really fast. Change comes fast. And I don't think Path of Exile is going to last forever. I think it's going to be like the PUBG or something where it was the first, it was the oldest, but it the copycats that came out right after it blew it out of the water. So if you think a few 100,000 on League launch is a big deal for Path of Exile, it wouldn't surprise me if games more like this, that are supported by big Chinese mobile gaming companies, have millions and millions and millions of players on League launch every 3 months like clockwork. Um, because ARPG is a great genre. I love ARPGs and I always will, but man, the times they are changing. Uh, I guess that's it. See you.